You all, I just got done watching the Twits on Netflix. I know I'm a few weeks behind, but it was awesome. And I thought I should jump on here and share with you just a little bit about what me as a child therapist thinks about the movie. In the story, two absolutely vile people, the Twits, basically gaslight an entire town with hot dog water and bad politics. But what really struck me was how the kids in the story, Bisha and Bubsy, hold on to kindness in a world that's built on cruelty. Sound familiar to anybody? As a child therapist, I love Roald Dahl, and when I watched the Netflix version of his book, The Twits, I realized that it's secretly teaching some of the most powerful lessons for kids and adults about empathy, about change, and the power we actually have over who it is we become, no matter where it was we started from. It teaches some really important and amazing lessons in some profound and concrete and amazing ways. First, it teaches that kids have power, that even when the world feels unfair or adults behave badly, kids still have power through their choices and their creativity and their empathy. It shows them that they are not powerless just to the whims of the world, that they can make a change, not just when they get older, but right here, right now. Another lesson it teaches is that circumstances shape us but don't define us. We see characters who think that they are shaped by pain and by poverty, but then they are able to break free from that. And that's something I talk about in therapy all the time, is that your environment influences you, but it doesn't have to imprison you. And that where you began or even where you are right now does not define who you will be even in the next few moments. Probably the most important lesson in the entire movie is that empathy is greater than hate. And in our world today, that is a lesson that everybody needs to hear over and over again. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when one of the characters says, "Hate is easy." Ah, it's easy to hate what we don't understand, but empathy takes effort, and effort builds connection. But the lessons don't stop there, because even after empathy is shown, the lesson is that goodness isn't a transaction. That just because you're kind to someone doesn't mean they'll magically change. But being kind and showing empathy still matters, even if it doesn't necessarily get you the outcome that you originally desired, because if nothing else, it keeps you from becoming like something you despise. The final lesson is that change takes more than just learning something. You have to implement it. You have to live it. Spoiler alert, there's not a happy ending for everybody in the movie. And some of the characters could have changed, but they just didn't want to. And that's a truth that hits hard for both kids and adults. All that to say, I loved this movie. And that's actually uncharacteristic of me. I don't like movies like this very often. I watched it because it was Roald Dahl and it was trending on Netflix. But I can say it's one of the best movies that I've seen this year. And I'm so glad I stuck it out for the full hour and 42 minutes. I came up with a little rating system as a child therapist to rate this movie and maybe others in the future if you like this content. And I designed 4 categories that I think are important for me to focus on. The first is lesson strength. Like, how well does it teach emotional or moral lessons? And out of 5 stars, I say that this one gets 4 stars. There are some very intense lessons and very important lessons that are taught repeatedly throughout the movie in some very tangible and creative ways. The next portion is about engagement. How well does it keep kids' attention without losing the meaning, where it's not all fart jokes, even though there are some. And out of 5 stars, I give this one 4.5 stars. There were times I was laughing really hard, and I can think of kids that I work with who would have been rolling on the ground laughing even harder than I was. The third category is the empathy factor. Like, does it inspire kindness and understanding? For this movie, I'll give it 4 out of 5 stars only because there's a few times where some very funny, mean things happen, and especially for very young viewers, it could make them think that being unkind is a funny thing that people will laugh at. So it loses 1 star just for that reason. And then finally is the emotional regulation value. Does it model calmness and reflection and growth? And I give this movie 4 stars. There are some times where the twits are behaving badly, but it's very known that you are not meant to model yourself after the twits. Overall, that gives the twits a 4.125 out of 5 stars, which was surprising even to me. Before I watched the movie, I wouldn't have guessed that it would rank that high. If you loved movies like Matilda or The Fantastic Mr. Fox, then this one is definitely worth a watch. Or if you are just looking for a way to teach your kids about empathy and understanding and kindness and how they have power even in a world that doesn't make a whole lot of sense a lot of times, then this one is for you. Have you watched The Twits? If you have, leave a comment about your thoughts about the movie. Or if you haven't watched it and have no reason to, don't want to, then leave a comment about what do you think? Can kindness really change people, or is that just a fairy tale? If you liked watching this video, then please like it. It helps me to understand that people might want more things like this. And if you're looking for more content about better understanding kids, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that we can all understand kids a little bit better. Remember, some things exist, some things don't. Bad kids don't exist. Peace.